Caitlin Clark still out, roster in crisis, and the Fever still didn't spend their $95,000. The WNBA trade deadline came and went on August 7th, and while contenders made bold moves to gear up for the playoff push, the Indiana Fever stayed silent. The Minnesota Lynx added Dejanai Carrington. Las Vegas brought in former number 2 pick Nalissa Smith for an extra jolt. But in Indianapolis? No deals. No reinforcements. Just $95,000 in salary cap space. Sitting there. At the time, it felt curious. Days later, it feels like a full-on misstep. The Fever, already without rookie superstar Caitlin Clark for the past 9 games, have now lost 2 more point guards for the season. Sydney Colson tore her ACL. Ari McDonald broke a bone in her foot. Both injuries came in the same week, and both leave Indiana's backcourt gutted. Middle of the pack, and slipping. This isn't just bad timing, it's dangerous timing. The middle of the WNBA standings is jammed tight. Seeds 5 through 9 are separated by just 2 games. One cold streak and you're watching the playoffs from home. That's why Indiana stands out to me, said analyst Erica Ayala on the We Need to Talk podcast. They had room to spend. They're right in that mix with Seattle, Chicago, and Phoenix. A couple losses now, and you're on the outside looking in. Clark's return? Still a mystery. The team lists her as out indefinitely, and head coach Christy Sides hasn't given a target date. Without her, Indiana is 3-6, and while McDonald had kept the offense humming with 10.7 points and 4.1 assists per game, that option is now gone. The off-season hype feels like a distant memory. Indiana came in talking championships, not just playoff berths. They paired veterans like DeWanna Bonner and Natasha Howard with young talent, building what looked like a contender. But Bonner's mid-season departure waved after locker room tension, and joining Phoenix left a hole that never got filled. And in a cruel twist, Bonner lit up her former team for 23 points in their most recent matchup, handing the Fever their worst loss of the year. That's the kind of production they need right now and don't have, one league scout told The Athletic. Now, with just 9 healthy players, the Fever have to grind through the toughest stretch of the season. No deadline trades, no veteran stopgaps, and no clear signal when Clark will be back. Next up? The Chicago Sky, another playoff bubble team, coming into Gainbridge Fieldhouse with a chance to leapfrog Indiana in the standings. If the Fever stumble again, that $95,000 in unused cap space will loom even larger, not as a lifeline, but as a missed opportunity. It's a Friday night in Indianapolis, but Gainbridge Fieldhouse hums with a different kind of energy. The drums still pound, the fans still wave their signs, but there's a hollow space in the air where Caitlin Clark's spark usually burns. She's there, of course, on the bench in her warm-up gear, leaning forward with that familiar competitive glare. But the groin injury that has kept her out for weeks has also robbed the Fever of their centerpiece, their pulse. Every possession feels a little heavier without her. Passes are a little slower, drives a little less daring. And for a team built on her quick-release threes and laser-beam court vision, the adjustment has been brutal. Clark's absence isn't just a missing piece. It's like someone took the lid off the team's energy jar and let it all escape. Act 2. The roster that keeps shrinking. If Clark's injury was the only hurdle, maybe the Fever could manage. But fate has a mean streak. In just 1 week, Ari McDonald broke her foot and Sydney Colson tore her ACL, 2 guards who brought grit, speed, and veteran stability. Suddenly, the Fever's backcourt wasn't just thin, it was paper thin. 9 healthy players remain, which in the WNBA isn't just inconvenient, it's a crisis. Practices are shorter because there aren't enough bodies. Lineups get shuffled like a desperate card trick. And in games, the rotations stretch so thin that fatigue sets in before halftime. The Fever have already applied for a hardship exception, hoping to sign replacements just to keep the engine running. But hardship signings are short-term fixes, and chemistry can't be built overnight. Act 3. The $95,000 question. In the middle of all this chaos, there's an odd subplot, one that has fans and analysts scratching their heads. The Fever still have $95,000 in unspent salary cap space. That's enough to sign a proven veteran or two, a shot creator, a defensive stopper, maybe even a spark plug who could carry them until Clark returns. Yet that money sits unused, like a full water bottle in the middle of a desert hike. Some say it's strategic, that the front office is holding out for the perfect fit. Others think it's caution, not wanting to commit resources if the season might already be slipping away. But for fans watching their playoff hopes wobble, it feels like hesitation at the worst possible time. In a league this competitive, hesitation isn't just dangerous, it's deadly. Act 4. Clark's battle behind the scenes. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark is learning that the toughest games aren't always played under the lights. This is her first real stretch away from the court since her high school days. She's used to playing through pain, but the team's medical staff won't let her risk long-term damage. The rehab sessions are grueling: elastic bands, core stability drills, light shooting from the corner while everyone else scrimmages. She's been in huddles, helping rookies read defenses. She's been at film sessions, pointing out the small gaps where they could attack. But the truth is, there's only so much a player can do without lacing up and running the floor. And she feels it. You can see it in the way she taps her knee restlessly during games, in the way her eyes follow every missed opportunity, as if she could will the ball into the hoop from the sideline. Act V. The ticking clock. The WNBA season is short, 40 games, every one a building block toward the playoffs. The Fever still sit in the middle of the standings, but the gap between 5th place and falling out of contention is razor thin. They need wins now. They need depth now. They need Clark, maybe sooner than her body is ready to give. But here's the reality. Even when Clark returns, this team will still face the same depth problem unless they act. That $95,000 could buy breathing room, could keep legs fresh and rotations balanced. But as each day passes, the window to make a meaningful addition narrows. Act 6. The choices ahead. This is where the Fever's season will be decided. Not in a game-winning shot, but in the quiet offices where roster moves are made. Do they pull the trigger and bring in a veteran guard, someone who can run the offense and keep the pressure off the younger players? Do they gamble on a high-scoring free agent who's been waiting for the right call? Or do they wait, hoping Clark's return alone will be enough to spark a late-season surge? Fans have their opinions. Talk radio is buzzing. Some say the Fever are being too cautious. Others believe this is all part of a bigger picture. Don't spend unless it's the right piece, they argue.